Exclusive. There's a front court move on the table. That would flip the Lakers from hoping the rim is protected to escorting you out of the paint with a bouncer and a clipboard. It's quiet. It's weirdly doable, and it would make half the West rethink their shot charts overnight. If you blink, you'll miss it. If the front office blinks, they'll regret it in May. You're thinking wings. You're thinking shooting. Sure. But what if the fix that stabilizes everything is a human eraser who plays vertical, like it's a hobby and treats floaters like junk mail? What if the most efficient way to help LeBron in year 22 and protect AD in game 82 is not another cute spacer, but a young giant who turns layups into negotiations? Here's the promise. I'm laying out the exact profile the Lakers have been pretending they can replace with committee. Why the playoff map says you can't fake rim deterrence. What the financial shape of a deal would look like without turning the draft cupboard into a haunted house. And how the rotation bends so you don't need a D at the 5 for 38 minutes just to survive Tuesdays in February. Before we dive, a quick reality check. This isn't if 12 teams do charity work and a star wakes up generous. This is a targeted, boring, winter-proof basketball solution that makes coaches sleep and shooters second guess. We'll walk through scheme, role, price, and the one big risk everyone will scream about on day 1 that stops being a big risk by day 10. You're on Lakers News Fan Report, where we love pretty basketball, but we trust ugly, winning habits even more. If you're the kind of fan who values vertical spacing as much as step backs, hit subscribe, toss a like, and tell the algorithm that grown-up hoops still matters in Los Angeles. Let's set the scene. The Lakers live on star gravity and half-court structure that looks great when the paint is respected and collapses when the rim is open for business. Switch too much with no backline? Hello, parade of floaters. Play drop with a small 5? Enjoy your offensive rebounds by the other guys. Lean on a D to erase everything for 8 months. That's a slow roast, not a plan. He's elite at both roles, primary helper and lone big, but asking him to be both at all times is like asking your pilot to also be ground crew during turbulence. The West did not get smaller. Guards hunt the middle with floaters, wings slice on 45 cuts, and backup bigs live on your second unit's lack of size. When the Lakers lose the vertical war, all the fun stuff Spain pick and rolls, split action, elegant delay series turns into please someone. Generate a clean look before the horn. You don't need a unicorn to fix it. You need a specialist who's cool with being the guy who ruins parties in the restricted area. Philosophically, that's the shift from chasing 5-out nirvana to embracing the ancient truth that playoff possessions bend toward the rim. You want to compete with the grown men? Win the paint on both ends. If heliocentric offenses are smartphones, rim protection is battery life. When it dies, everything looks fancy and nothing works. Money and draft picks matter. The Lakers need the kind of move that helps today without detonating tomorrow. The sweet spot. A young, cost-controlled big who's already elite at one high-value thing, rim protection. Competent at the second, screening and rim running, and doesn't need touches to be happy. Translation. Add impact per dollar, not headlines per tweet. The profile is obvious if you stop staring at shiny things. A 7-footer with timing, economy of motion, and a vertical catch radius that makes mediocre passes look like assists. He doesn't freelance. He finishes. He doesn't chase blocks into the popcorn line. He walls up, swallows angles, and still gets fingertips on the ball. He's not selling shoes. He's selling sanity. All right, name time, and it's the one that makes every Lakers group chat light up. Walker Kessler. That's the move we're talking about tonight. The idea of the Lakers going and getting the league's most plug-and-play rim deterrent under 25 and handing him the keys to the restricted area while D stops choosing between 5 and fire extinguisher every night. Kessler isn't a maybe. He's a known quantity. His calling card is timing so clean it looks like cheating. Guards think they've got the step, Extend for a polite layup, and he appears like a closing elevator door. He blocks shots without fouling at a rate that makes analytics departments write love songs. He's the rare young big who understands verticality as an actual technique, not a suggestion. And he does it for 20 to 28 minutes without demanding a parade of post touches. That's how you star in a role. Offensively, he's a functional adult. Screens like a brick wall, rolls hard enough to tug the weak side tag, and owns the offensive glass like it wronged him. If you overplay the tag to kill the lob, the corner three is now a training wheels shot. If you stay home, it's a runway to the rim. The beauty is that he does not need 12 play calls. He needs 2 reads and a point guard who can count to 3. Let's talk fit with a D, and LeBron because that's the only fit that matters. With Kessler, AD can spend more time as the rover-free safety help from the nail, late contest from the weak side, and real breathers at the 5 without the roof collapsing. LeBron gets a true vertical threat for high ball screens that pull the second defender into no-win choices. You don't need to reinvent the offense. You need to swap out flimsy parts for steel dot scheme-wise. Kessler gives you options. You can play a conservative drop against high-volume PNR teams and live with contested pull-ups instead of parade to the rim drives. Versus 5-out groups, you can toggle to weak side zones and peel switches, trusting that if a driver gets downhill, there's a 7-foot stop sign waiting. And for the small ball matchups, he'll survive because he doesn't bite at every head fake. He occupies space like a tent. What does this do for the rotation? It frees your nights. Stagger a D in Kessler, so there's always a grown-up in the paint. On nights you need to go jumbo, they can share the floor in short, destructive bursts. AD as the mobile 4 in space. Kessler anchoring the rim, wings blanketing shooters. On nights you need spacing, Kessler takes the bench stretch, AD closes at the 5, and no one's gas. Rebounding stops being a TED Talk and returns to being math. Defensive boards become one-and-done trips instead of anxiety screenings. On offense, those quiet tip-outs extend possessions into 3s. And suddenly that 8-2 run becomes 13-2. Coaches call it hidden points. Fans call it finally. Red zone offense, yes. I'm calling the paint that gets simpler. Forget the 14 pass museum pieces. Sprint into high PNR, force the low man to tag, punish with the corner or the lob. Add one Spain wrinkle and you build a choice the defense hates. Give up a floater, give up the corner, or get dunked on. There are no moral victories in the restricted area. Let's hit the loud, predictable concerns. Spacing? He's not a shooter. True. But bad spacing is a geometry problem, not just a personnel one. If you keep him on the move short rolls, dunker spot cuts, rescreens, he becomes a gravity piece without ever taking a 3. And when he's off the floor, you don't lose the paint because a D slides back to 5 like he's done for years. You're diversifying, not abandoning. Foul trouble? Young bids get whistle happy. Kessler's trick is that he blocks without hunting. Verticality, angles, chest up, then hands late. He'll pick some up. It won't be a weekly crisis. Playoff coverage? He's not switch everything proof against every guard on earth. That's why you have peel switch rules, early tags, and help at the nail. Rim protectors protect the rim. If you're asking him to moonlight as a 6 feet 5 inches wing, that's on you. The money part. You're hunting a deal that doesn't turn the next 3 drafts into a campfire. Think respectable capital, not your best first, not your blue chippers plus a contract or 2 to match. You're paying for a specialized elevator, not a penthouse. Overpay, and you'll regret it. Pay smart, and you'll wonder why this wasn't done in October. Why would the other team listen? Because in this league, timelines and priorities change. Cap sheets get tight, rotations get crowded, and value calculations shift. If they think they can turn a premium backup into picks and flexibility while grooming another big, the phone doesn't go straight to voicemail. This is a right price, right timing conversation. not highway robbery. Culture is not fluff here. A young big who competes, runs, and accepts role clarity tends to get better in clean programs. The Lakers' ecosystem, when aligned, has a PhD in turning elite role players into playoff weapons. He brings the sweat, you bring the structure, and suddenly the film room looks different on Mondays. What about the half court when everyone shrinks the floor? Simple. Run into screens with speed, force trail, roll with intent. Make the weak side choose between a corner three or a dunk. You don't ask Kessler to beat switches with ISO. You use DHO flips, keep actions with a shooter lifting, and smash the glass until the coaching staff across from you tries something desperate. How does this help the guards? Your pick and roll ball handlers stop seeing two people at the nail every trip. With a real lob threat, the tagging defender can't stunt and recover like it's a drill. That gives your guards the space to live in the elbow area, which is where confident mid-range pull-ups turn runs into avalanches. Spacing isn't only 25 feet away. Spacing is fear in the lane. Fast break? A shot blocker who ends possessions with clean boards triggers runouts. LeBron with shooters sprinting and a big who rim runs like he means it. We have seen this movie. It ages well. Fourth quarter defense. This is the secret sauce. When whistles tighten and games slow, having a bench five who can give you 6 elite defensive minutes changes closing math. AD sits from 6:30 to 4 o'clock, returns fresh, and you don't spend those 2 minutes praying. Kessler soaks them up, and the scoreboard doesn't blink out all right. Let's address matchups. Big bruising posts? You're throwing length and patience at them first, and help second. Spread pick and roll merchants? You toggle coverages and force jumpers. The point isn't that Kessler solves basketball. It's that he simplifies your best choices. Simpler choices later how series tilt. Risk profile honestly. Development isn't linear. Some nights he'll look 28, some nights 22. Stick to the roll and the curve bends up. He doesn't need star touches. He needs star consistency. That's teachable. What isn't teachable is 7-foot timing and a willingness to get hit to win a possession. He already has that dot. What does the first week look like if the move lands? Practice reps heavy on PNR chemistry with ball handlers, terminology clinic on backline calls, and a 2-play package installed by Game 2, high 77 angle screen into short roll with a corner lift and Spain out of Horns twist. Defensively, day 1 rule, protect the rim first. Everything else is a math puzzle we saw behind you by week 3. You see the subtle stuff. Opponents stop driving as hard on the second side. Floaters get 2 inches higher. They miss. And the Lakers' defensive rebounding percentage nudges up just enough that you feel calmer on couches across Southern California. Let's talk identity. This franchise wins when the paint is sacred. From the Showtime sprint to the Twin Towers eras to the AD bubble run, the common thread isn't just stars, it's the rim belonging to us. Kessler is a return to that physics. He doesn't make a banner. He makes banners possible. What does the depth chart feel like? Honest, roles make sense. The bench carries lineups without "please AD save us" baked into every second. If someone goes cold from 3, you're not toast, because your baseline is defense and glass. You can survive bad shooting nights if the other team feels like they're playing uphill. There's also the human part. LeBron has earned an offense that asks him to solve chess, not whack-a-mole. AD has earned a season where maintenance isn't code for hold this anvil. Kessler's presence respects both realities. Stars age better when the floor is safer. If this sounds like I'm campaigning, yes, with a caveat. The price has to be adult. You don't trade tomorrow's roof for today's umbrella. Set a line, don't cross it, and be okay walking away if the other side asks for your inheritance. Process wins over time. Panic does not. What are the tells that something is cooking? Quiet minutes manipulation elsewhere. Back-to-back DMP rest explanations that feel like algebra. A couple of reputable beat writers dropping monitoring and framework in the same sentence. And role players getting very complimentary on podcasts about how business works. You know the dance by now. If it lands, how do you debut it? At home, first quarter, first timeout, run high PNR with LeBron, watch the low man step, throw the lob, let the building learn a new sound. Then in the second, pair him with a D for 2 minutes and make the other coach burn a timeout out of sheer irritation. Fans learn fast. Coaches learn faster. I want your trade brain right now. What's your max without hating yourself in June? A first with light protections and a bench contract. 2 seconds and a swap? Is there a young piece you'd move only if the protections are ironclad? Put your best smart but not thirsty package in the comments. And yes, explain the cap math like we're adults. Give me your lineup wish list too. Which 5 do you want for 6 straight stops in a playoff road game? Which 5 for the 2-for-1 at 112 left? And which 5 when the other team goes 5 out and starts launching threes like they're paid per attempt? Build me your chessboard. Here's my personal take. And then I'll shut up if the number stays within reason. Walker Kessler is exactly the kind of unglamorous, high-leverage addition that turns this Lakers season from hope we hit shots into our floor is higher than your ceiling on bad nights. And yes, it's speculation. I'm not announcing a deal. I'm defending the smartest rumor on the market.